Greetings, cozy knights. Lower your swords and rest by the fire. Tonight, we journey through the hidden corners and secret truths of Riften. Drop a comment below and tell me where you're listening from tonight. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next adventure. The only three-gated city. Riften stands unique among Skyrim's walled cities as the only settlement featuring three separate entrances from the wilderness. Most fortified cities limit themselves to one or two gates for defensive purposes, but Riften's position on Lake Honrig and its role as a trading hub necessitated multiple access points. The main gate greets travelers from the north, providing the most direct route into the market district. A second gate allows entry from the western approach, convenient for those traveling from Whiterun or the central holds. The third entrance, however, tells a darker story entirely. The Dead Gate mystery. That third gate, located on Riften's eastern wall, remains permanently sealed with wooden boards. According to the official game guide, this entrance earned the grim name Dead Gate after countless citizens perished during repeated bandit raids. The attacks grew so frequent and deadly that authorities decided permanently closing this access point made more strategic sense than continuing to defend it. If you examine the boarded-up gate carefully, you can still see the weathered wood and rusted nails that have sealed it for years. A path leads from this forbidden entrance toward the Morrowind border, though that border gate itself remains impassable. The Dead Gate stands as a permanent reminder of Riften's violent history and the constant threats that have shaped the city's development. The Invisible Lake mystery. Players attempting to explore the waters of Lake Honrig from within Riften's walls discover a frustrating secret. Invisible barriers completely surround the accessible portions of the lake, preventing anyone from actually swimming in the water that theoretically sits right outside the city. You can see the lake clearly from various vantage points within Riften's walls, but any attempt to reach it from inside the city results in your character colliding with unseen obstacles. The only way to actually access Lake Honrig involves leaving through one of Riften's gates and approaching the water from outside the city boundaries. If you're determined to explore the lake from within city limits, you'll need to disable the invisible barriers through console commands or mods. This peculiar design choice likely stems from technical limitations or an attempt to maintain clear boundaries between the city's interior and exterior world spaces. The canal that built a city. An extensive canal system runs beneath Riften streets, originally designed to facilitate commerce and transportation throughout the city. This network of waterways once connected various districts and provided efficient routes for moving goods between the marketplace and the docks. The canals represent significant engineering achievement, suggesting Riften's founders invested considerable resources in infrastructure. However, decades of neglect have transformed these once productive waterways into stagnant, crime-infested passages. The abandoned canal system now serves primarily as home to the Thieves Guild and various unsavory characters who prefer operating outside legitimate society's watchful eyes. The Wooden City Paradox. Despite Riften's significant wealth, generated by the Blackbriar Meadery and other successful businesses, most structures throughout the city consist primarily of wood, rather than the stone construction favored by wealthier holds like Solitude or Windhelm. This creates an interesting contradiction where one of Skyrim's richest cities maintains an appearance of decay and impermanence. The wooden architecture gives Riften a distinctly run-down feeling that often surprises first-time visitors expecting grandeur, befitting the city's economic success. However, residents embrace this aesthetic, viewing their city's appearance as honest reflection of its hard-working fishing and brewing industries, rather than pretentious stone monuments. The autumnal forest location. Riften nestles within Skyrim's autumnal forest region, blessed with some of the province's most beautiful natural scenery. Golden leaves, pleasant weather patterns, and rich foliage create an almost perpetual autumn atmosphere that has encroached upon the city itself. Trees grow within the city walls, and vegetation flourishes throughout the streets, making Riften feel more integrated with nature than most Nord settlements. The mild climate and abundant rainfall support the agricultural activities crucial to the meadery's success, particularly the beekeeping operations that provide honey for Blackbriar mead. This natural beauty contrasts sharply with the corruption and crime festering within the city's political and economic structures. The two rifts of Riften. Riften's geography divides the city into two distinct sections separated by the canal system. The northern, eastern and southern portions of the city, built along Lake Honrik's shores, are collectively known as Dryside. This area houses the majority of Riften's residential buildings and commercial establishments. The western edge, called Plankside, connects to Dryside via bridges spanning the canal. The more affluent homes cluster on Dryside's eastern edge, alongside prestigious locations like the Temple of Mara. Meanwhile, the southern portion of Dryside contains Honor Hall Orphanage and Mistvale Keep, the Jarl's seat of power. This geographical division mirrors the city's social stratification, with wealth and poverty existing in close proximity, yet remaining functionally separate. The Market District's prime location. Riften's marketplace occupies the city's northern section, immediately visible upon entering through the main gate. This strategic placement ensures travelers and traders encounter the commercial district before reaching residential areas or the Jarl's Keep. The market features permanent stalls rather than the temporary setups common in smaller settlements, indicating the district's importance to Riften's economy. Merchants sell everything from jewelry to fish, with the marketplace serving as the city's economic heart. Brynjolf, the Thieves Guild's most charismatic member, works this market during daytime hours, approaching prospective recruits with his schemes and silver tongue. The Temple of Mara's Monopoly. Riften hosts Skyrim's only Temple of Mara, giving the city absolute monopoly over marriage ceremonies throughout the province. If any adventurer wishes to wed in Skyrim, they must travel to Riften's temple to complete the ceremony. This unique status brings pilgrims and would-be spouses from across Skyrim, providing steady income for the temple and the city's hospitality businesses. The temple's distinctive status reinforces Riften's importance despite its reputation for corruption and crime. Priests of Mara, led by Dinya Balu, perform wedding ceremonies and offer guidance to those seeking love and companionship. The Jagged Crown's alternative path. During the Civil War questline, players can optionally hand Riften to Imperial forces through the season-unending negotiations without ever fighting a battle for the city. This diplomatic transfer triggers significant changes in Riften's leadership and daily life. The manner in which control changes hands affects various questlines and NPC behaviors, creating subtle differences in how the city functions under Imperial versus Stormcloak rule. Some players complete multiple playthroughs without realizing Riften's fate can be decided at the negotiating table rather than on the battlefield. The fishery's foundation. The Riften fishery operates on a pier extending into Lake Honrich, providing employment and sustenance for numerous citizens. This building serves as more than simple economic infrastructure. The fishery represents one of Riften's legitimate industries, contrasting with the corruption dominating much of the city's economy. Ujita, an Argonian worker at the fishery, becomes crucial to uncovering Riften's skooma trade. Her struggles with addiction and subsequent cooperation with the player's investigation highlight how even honest businesses exist within reach of the city's criminal networks. The Blackbriar Meadery's dominance. Blackbriar Meadery produces the most widely distributed alcoholic beverage in Skyrim, with bottles of Blackbriar mead found in taverns and shops throughout every hold. The meadery's success stems partly from Maven Blackbriar's ruthless business practices and her willingness to eliminate competition through any means necessary. The facility itself operates as a legitimate business venture while serving as front for various illegal activities. Workers at the meadery live in constant fear of displeasing Maven or making mistakes that might draw her wrath. 3 previous workers at the tasting counter died under mysterious circumstances, leaving current employee Ungrian terrified of failing to properly promote the product. The Golden Glow Estate connection. Golden Glow Estate, located on an island in Lake Honrich outside Riften's walls, provides the honey essential to Blackbriar Mead's production. This apiary operates multiple beehives and employs guards to protect its valuable product. The estate becomes target of Thieves Guild's first major job after player recruitment, as Maven Blackbriar seeks to remind the owner of who truly controls the honey supply. The quest reveals how deeply Maven has embedded herself in every aspect of Riften's economy, controlling not just the meadery itself, but also the agricultural operations supporting it. The Honor Hall Orphanage Horror. Honor Hall Orphanage, run by the cruel Grellad the Kind, houses Riften's parentless children in conditions bordering on abuse. Grellad's ironic title mocks her actual treatment of the children under her care, who suffer verbal abuse and neglect daily. The orphanage becomes target of Dark Brotherhood assassination contract, with one of the orphans performing the Black Sacrament to summon assassins. This questline exposes another dark facet of Riften's character, where even children suffer under systems that prioritize profit and power over basic human decency. After Grellad's death, Constance Michel assumes control and attempts to improve conditions for the orphans. The Mistvale Keep architecture. Mistvale Keep serves as Riften's seat of government, housing the Jarl and her court. The keep's design reflects Nord architectural traditions, while incorporating unique elements suited to Riften's canal side location. The throne room, where Jarl Lila, lawgiver, holds court, features the typical Nord long hall design, but the building's lower levels connect directly to the city's sewer system. This connection plays a crucial role during Thieves Guild quest lines, as the ragged Flagon headquarters sits directly beneath the legitimate government seat of power. The symbolism could hardly be more obvious. Corruption literally lurks beneath Riften's official leadership. The Ratway entrance. The Ratway's main entrance sits below the Scorched Hammer. accessed via stairs near Honor Hall Orphanage, leading down to Riften's lower canal level. This publicly accessible entrance allows non-guild members to navigate the sewers, though doing so requires fighting through various hostile inhabitants. The entrance remains unmarked on the map initially, requiring players to actively seek it out or follow NPC directions. A drawbridge near the entrance can be lowered via lever, providing easier exit route for those who survive their journey through the dangerous passages. The entrance's location perfectly illustrates Riften's nature. Crime and government coexist so closely that one merely needs to descend a staircase to transition from legal society to criminal underworld. The Ragged Flagon's secret purpose. The Ragged Flagon serves as front establishment for the Thieves Guild headquarters, operating as tavern that attracts the city's less reputable citizens. Vekel the Man tends bar, providing drinks and rumours to patrons, while carefully screening potential recruits. The establishment's location deep within the Ratway ensures only dedicated individuals make the journey, filtering out casual troublemakers. The Ragged Flagon's existence allows guild members to gather openly without arousing suspicion, as the tavern provides legitimate reason for people to travel through the sewers. This clever cover lets the guild operate in plain sight, while maintaining plausible deniability. The cistern's hidden entrance. Beyond the entrance through the Ratway, the Thieves Guild headquarters features second access point hidden within Riften's graveyard. A tomb near the Hall of the Dead contains secret button within its central diamond symbol. Pressing this button causes the tomb to slide back, revealing stone staircase descending to sewer covering. This entrance leads directly into the Ragged Flagon cistern, the guild's actual headquarters, bypassing the dangerous Ratway entirely. Guild members can only access this entrance after officially joining the organization and completing initial quests. The graveyard entrance becomes marked on the city map as Thieves Guild after first use, allowing fast travel directly to headquarters. This convenience proves invaluable for guild members conducting regular business in Riften. The cistern's training room. The Ragged Flagon cistern contains dedicated training area with practice lockpicking chests of varying difficulty levels. 5 chests ranging from novice to master difficulty allow guild members to improve their lockpicking skills without risking imprisonment. These practice chests reset after short intervals, providing unlimited training opportunities. A note near the chests explains their purpose, though experienced players recognize them immediately. Curiously, guild members will comment if they observe the player picking these practice locks, as if it were unusual behavior in the Thieves Guild headquarters. The training room also contains complete set of Thieves Guild armor and weapons, allowing new recruits to properly equip themselves. The vault's progressive wealth. The Thieves Guild treasury, located behind double metal doors in the cistern, requires 2 keys to access. This vault's contents depend on the player's level when first joining the guild, creating interesting incentive to delay recruitment until later levels. Low-level players joining at levels 1 through 10 find modest rewards, small amounts of gold, weak potions and iron arrows. However, players waiting until level 40 or above discover valuable treasures including Daedric arrows, high-level potions, and precious gems. The vault never respawns once looted, making the initial haul the only opportunity to claim these level-scaled rewards. This mechanic rewards patient players who delay Thieves Guild membership until their character has grown more powerful. The Trophy Room's evolution. As players complete jobs for Delvin Mallory and Vex, trophies gradually fill shelves behind the Guildmaster's desk in the cistern. A jeweled candlestick appears after completing 5 jobs, followed by an ornate drinking horn at 15 jobs, and a golden ship model at 25 jobs. These displays serve as visible representation of the Guild's growing success and the player's contribution to its restoration. The trophy room reaches full glory after completing 125 total jobs, at which point a special safe unlocks containing substantial rewards. This long-term progression system gives players tangible goals beyond the main quest line, while physically transforming the headquarters to reflect the Guild's return to prominence. The Litany of Larceny Collection. Delvin Mallory maintains special collection of rare stolen items displayed in the cistern. These unique treasures can be found during the main Thieves Guild questline, often in locations the player visits for other purposes. The collection includes Queen Freydis' sword, Fiotley's silver locket, Maven's nightingale bust, and other valuable pieces of Skyrim's history. Each item has specific location tied to guild-related quests, requiring players to search carefully during their missions. When sold to Delvin, these treasures appear on shelves behind the Guildmaster's desk, creating a personalized museum of the Guild's greatest heists. Completing the full collection requires dedication and attention to detail, rewarding thorough players with both gold and the satisfaction of a completed set. The Shadowmark system. Explained. Thieves Guild members use specific symbols called shadow marks to communicate secretly throughout Skyrim. These marks appear on buildings and structures across every city, indicating safe houses, dangerous locations, loot caches, and guild-owned properties. The cistern contains copies of the book Shadow Marks, which explains each symbol's meaning. A guild shadow mark appears beside the ground entrance before the gated door leading into the Ragged Flagon, identifying it as guild headquarters. A loot shadow mark marks the chest location in the Ratway Vault's northwest room. A danger shadow mark warns of threats after passing through Riftweald Manor before dropping into the Ratway Vaults. These marks provide crucial information to guild members while remaining meaningless symbols to outsiders. The Mercer Frey Revelation. The Thieves Guild's apparent bad fortune stems from Guildmaster Mercer Frey's betrayal. Mercer secretly murdered the previous Guildmaster Gallus Desidenius and stole the skeleton key from Nocturnal's shrine, breaking the pact that had sustained the guild's success for generations. This betrayal activated Nocturnal's curse, causing the guild's decline into poverty and ill repute. The curse explains why the guild struggles so dramatically despite having skilled members and established networks. Only by returning the skeleton key to its rightful place can the guild restore Nocturnal's favor and break the curse. This revelation transforms the entire questline from simple thief story into theological drama about divine contracts and broken oaths. The Nightingale's true purpose. The Nightingales exist as separate organization within the Thieves Guild, sworn to protect Nocturnal's shrine and the skeleton key. When the first Nightingale sought Nocturnal's blessing for the guild, she agreed, but demanded the key's protection in return. This ancient pact bound the guild's fate to its sacred duty. Carlia, Gallus, and Mercer formed the most recent trinity of Nightingales before Mercer's betrayal. The player eventually joins Carlia and Brynjolf in restoring the Nightingale Trinity, taking sacred oaths and receiving Nocturnal's powers. The Nightingale questline reveals the supernatural foundations underlying what initially appeared to be mundane criminal organization, adding mythological depth to the thieves' story. The Ragged Flagon's restoration. As the player completes reputation quests in Markarth, Solitude, Whiterun, and Windhelm, the Ragged Flagon gradually transforms from dingy sewer tavern into respectable establishment. New furniture replaces worn pieces, additional decorations appear, and more merchants set up shop. Sindus, Herluin Lothair, Ansgar Embermaster, and Vanrith Gatherion arrive as vendors, expanding services available to guild members. The cistern similarly improves, with better lighting and decorations reflecting the guild's renewed prosperity. This visual progression makes the guild's restoration tangible, letting players see direct results of their efforts rather than merely hearing about improved reputation. By questline's end, the headquarters transforms from desperate hideout into thriving criminal enterprise. The Brandshay Tragedy. During the initial Thieves Guild recruitment quest, a chance arrangement, players must plant Medaci's ring on Brandshay, an Argonian merchant working the Riften marketplace. Guards immediately arrest Brandshay, imprisoning him in Mistvale Keep for the rest of the game. This permanent incarceration removes Brandshay from the marketplace, eliminating one merchant from Riften's economy. Interestingly, even if players fail to steal the ring or plant it successfully, Brynjolf still recruits them to the guild, making Brandshay's imprisonment avoidable. However, most players complete the task as instructed, never realizing they've condemned an innocent merchant to life imprisonment. Brandshay's journal reveals he came to Riften seeking information about his ancestry, making his fate particularly tragic. The Farmer Blood elixir scam. Brynjolf's distraction during a chance arrangement involves promoting Farmer Blood elixir, an obviously fraudulent product with absurd health claims. He delivers this sales pitch with such conviction that most marketplace visitors stop to listen, despite the product being transparent fabrication. The elixir doesn't actually exist in-game. It serves purely as distraction to allow the player to commit theft while everyone watches Brynjolf. This scene perfectly captures Brynjolf's charisma and the Thieves Guild's modus operandi. Create compelling illusions while conducting actual business elsewhere. The fake product also plays into Nord superstitions and fears about Falmer, demonstrating how effective charlatans exploit cultural anxieties. The Vex and Delvin dynamic. Vex and Delvin Mallory provide radiant quests that help restore the guild's reputation across Skyrim. These two senior guild members represent different aspects of thievery. Vex specializes in burglary and stealth, assigning jobs involving breaking into properties and stealing specific items. Delvin handles more complex schemes requiring social manipulation and intelligence gathering. Their contrasting approaches reflect the guild's diverse skill set. Players must complete 5 jobs in each major city to trigger special reputation quests, requiring sustained effort across all Skyrim's regions. This system encourages players to travel throughout the world, spreading the guild's influence while accumulating wealth and experience. The Snowvale Sanctum Tragedy. Snowvale Sanctum, where Mercer Frey murdered Gallus Desidenius, serves as turning point in the Thieves Guild questline. Players venture here with Mercer himself, not realizing they travel alongside the betrayer responsible for the guild's misfortunes. The ancient Nordic ruin contains Draga and various traps, but the real danger walks beside the player throughout the dungeon. Only when reaching the inner chamber does Carlia emerge from hiding, revealing Mercer's treachery before he escapes. This quest masterfully builds tension through dramatic irony as players cooperate with the villain while approaching the scene of his greatest crime. The Carlia Translation Mystery. After the events at Snowvale Sanctum, players must help Carlia translate Gallus's journal to prove Mercer's guilt. This requires visiting Enther at the College of Winterhold, adding unexpected academic element to the thief storyline. Enther reveals connections between the guild and the college, showing how criminal networks extend into seemingly respectable institutions. The translation process provides crucial exposition about the Nightingales, the Skeleton Key, and Nocturnal's role in guild affairs. This quest transforms the narrative from straightforward revenge story into complex exploration of divine pacts, broken oaths, and the price of ambition. The Riftweald Manor Break-In. Investigating Mercer Frey requires breaking into his Riftweald Manor home in Riften. This mission provides interesting challenge, as Mercer installed numerous traps and security measures throughout his residence. Vald, a mercenary bound to Mercer through debt, guards the manor's exterior. Players can clear Vald's debt by retrieving the Quill of Gemination for Maven Blackbriar, allowing peaceful entry, or simply kill him. Inside, the manor reveals Mercer's paranoia through excessive security and his wealth through stolen treasures. A secret passage leads from the manor directly into the Ratway vaults, explaining how Mercer moved undetected through Riften while maintaining respectable facade. The Twilight Sepulchre quest. The climactic Thieves Guild quest takes place in Twilight Sepulchre, Nocturnal's shrine. Players must navigate this ancient temple to reach the inner sanctum, where Mercer has fled with the Skeleton Key. The dungeon features puzzles involving light and shadow, reflecting Nocturnal's domains. Mercer awaits in the final chamber, and the ensuing battle determines the guild's fate. After defeating Mercer, players must return the Skeleton Key to its proper place, breaking Nocturnal's curse and restoring her favor. Carlia and Brynjolf join as full Nightingales during this quest, reforming the Trinity sworn to protect the shrine. A shrine of Nocturnal appears in the Ragged Flagon cistern afterward, allowing players to access Nocturnal's special blessings. The Guildmaster's final reward. Upon completing the main quest line and all special reputation quests, players receive the title of Guildmaster and the tribute chest. This unique container fills with gold periodically based on the guild's success, providing passive income. The amount increases as players complete more radiant quests, incentivizing continued participation in guild activities even after the main story concludes. The Guildmaster position also grants special dialogue options with guild members and increased respect throughout Riften. Becoming Guildmaster represents more than title. It demonstrates the player's complete restoration of the guild from a broken organization cursed by divine wrath to thriving criminal empire with Nocturnal's blessing. The Maven Blackbriar Supremacy. Maven Blackbriar controls Riften more completely than the Jarl herself. She maintains connections with the Thieves Guild, the Dark Brotherhood, the Imperial Legion, and numerous other powerful organizations. Maven's influence extends beyond simple political corruption into absolute dominance of the city's economy and social structures. She owns the Blackbriar Meadery, the most successful business in the Rift, and maintains tight control over related industries like Golden Glow Estate's beekeeping operation. Her wealth, connections, and willingness to eliminate threats make her effectively untouchable. Maven's power is so absolute that she openly admits to having Layla Lawgiver's ear and the guards in her pocket, knowing no one can challenge her without facing deadly consequences. The Blackbriar family tree confusion. The Blackbriar family relationships contain contradictions, suggesting development changes during Skyrim's creation. Maven identifies herself as mother to Hemming Blackbriar, but Hemming refers to Ingun and Sibby as his children, despite also calling Maven his mother. Ingun and Sibby both discuss Maven using language suggesting she's their mother. The creation kit lists Maven as grandmother to Ingun and Sibby, but most in-game dialogue contradicts this. This confusion likely stems from Bethesda changing the family structure during development and forgetting to update all references. Most players interpret Maven as mother to all three, treating Hemming's contradictory dialogue as oversight. The family dynamics remain thoroughly dysfunctional regardless of exact relationships. The Sibby Blackbriar imprisonment. Sibby Blackbriar resides in Mistvale Keep's prison despite being Maven's grandson or son. He earned imprisonment by murdering his ex-fiance's brother in fit of jealous rage. The affair that prompted this violence involves Svidi, a woman Sibby loved obsessively. Rather than protect her family member, Maven allowed his imprisonment, considering him embarrassment to the Blackbriar name. Sibby's cell features luxurious furnishings unlike typical prison accommodations. A comfortable bed, table laden with food, and various amenities. He can even conduct business from prison, asking players to deliver messages and complete tasks on his behalf. This extraordinary treatment demonstrates Maven's influence even in her displeasure. Sibby suffers imprisonment, but lives comfortably while confined. The Ingun Blackbriar alchemy obsession. Ingun Blackbriar dedicates herself to alchemy, despite Maven's pressure to focus on the family business. She apprentices with Elgrim at his alchemy shop, pursuing her passion for potions and poisons. Ingun's fascination extends to disturbing territory. She expresses interest in the effects of various toxic substances and seems somewhat morbid in her interests. Players can complete quest gathering rare ingredients for her. 20 death bells, 20 nightshade, and 20 Nirnroot. This task reveals Ingun's dedication to her studies and provides substantial reward upon completion, including access to a supply chest that restocks regularly with free potions. Ingun represents the only Blackbriar family member pursuing honest interests, rather than criminal schemes or business manipulation. The Hemming Blackbriar arrogance. Hemming Blackbriar, Maven's son or grandson depending on interpretation, embodies entitled arrogance. He proclaims himself skilled warrior and shrewd merchant despite providing little evidence of either talent. Hemming serves as Maven's primary assistant in family business matters, following her orders without question. His interactions with Riften citizens reveal his contempt for those he considers beneath the Blackbriar family. Merchants particularly suffer his abuse, as Hemming frequently demands goods without payment and threatens consequences for resistance. If Maven becomes Jarl, Hemming assumes the role of steward, further cementing the family's control over Riften's government. His blind devotion to Maven and willingness to carry out her wishes make him dangerous despite his questionable competence. The Maul Enforcer connection. Maul serves as Maven's personal bodyguard and enforcer, ensuring her will is carried out throughout Riften. This massive Nord warrior confronts the player immediately upon entering Riften for the first time, warning them to avoid Blackbriar business. Maul's presence demonstrates Maven's power. She maintains private military force answering only to her. He appears throughout the city, watching for threats to Maven's interests. If Maven becomes Jarl after Imperial takeover, Maul assumes the position of her housecarl, making his role as her protector official rather than merely practical. Maul represents the physical threat backing Maven's economic and political power, reminding citizens that crossing the Blackbriars carries consequences beyond financial ruin. The Black Sacrament in Blackbriar Manor. In the locked basement of Blackbriar Manor, players who successfully pick the master-level lock discover a disturbing scene. A skeleton surrounded by candles sits in classic Black Sacrament formation, the ritual used to summon the Dark Brotherhood. A note beside the remains reveals Maven's frustration with the Brotherhood's slow response to her assassination request. She specifically names Astrid, the Brotherhood's current leader, indicating personal familiarity with the organization. This discovery confirms Maven's connections extend to Skyrim's most feared assassins. The basement shrine serves as physical evidence that Maven doesn't merely threaten to contact the Dark Brotherhood. She actively uses their services to eliminate obstacles. The promises to keep horse theft. Louis Latruche approaches players at the Bee and Barb with proposal to steal Frost, a valuable horse belonging to Sibby Blackbriar. The quest, Promises to Keep, involves visiting Sibby in prison, obtaining information about Frost's location, then stealing the horse from Blackbriar Lodge. The questline reveals complicated history between Louis and the Blackbriar family, with Louis owing debts and seeking revenge through theft of Sibby's prized possession. Players must choose whether to deliver Frost to Louis, as agreed, or keep the valuable horse for themselves. This quest demonstrates the tangled web of relationships surrounding the Blackbriar family, where even minor associates engage in schemes and counter-schemes. The Maven Blackbriar as Jarl. If the Imperial Legion conquers Riften during the Civil War, Maven Blackbriar replaces Layla Lawgiver as Jarl. This transition makes official what was already reality: Maven's control over the city. Upon assuming the title, Maven remarks that it's merely formality since she always controlled Riften anyway. This rare instance of honesty reveals her awareness of her power. As Jarl, Maven operates with even less pretense than before, openly conducting Blackbriar business from Mistvale Keep. Hemming becomes her steward and Maul her housecarl, replacing Layla's court with Blackbriar family members. The political transformation changes little about how Riften functions, highlighting that the corruption ran so deep that official title changes made minimal difference. The Gunderic Blackbriar legend. According to lore sources, Maven's father Gunderic Blackbriar represented stark contrast to her ruthless nature. Sometime in the 2nd century of the 4th era, Gunderic took control of the Blackbriar family after his father's assassination by Skooma cartel agents. Rather than seek revenge through criminal channels, Gundarik burned the family's criminal network to the ground, turning in all criminal associates and rebuilding the family's reputation through legitimate means. He donated much of the family wealth to charities and funded massive renovation of Riften. Gundarik even assembled soldiers to hunt bandits throughout the rift, bringing them to justice. This brief period of honor didn't last. Gundarik died of mysterious disease just as he planned to donate the family's remaining wealth, leaving them essentially penniless. At his funeral pyre, his daughter Maven threw a black rose across his burning body and smiled, strongly suggesting she poisoned him to prevent the family's complete financial ruin. The Jarl Layla Lawgiver contradiction. Jarl Layla Lawgiver's name carries bitter irony considering her complete failure to enforce laws or maintain order in Riften. As Jarl, she holds the authority to address the city's rampant corruption and crime, but does absolutely nothing to combat either problem. Layla appears utterly oblivious to the Thieves' Guild's presence beneath her keep, Maven Blackbriar's criminal connections, and the general lawlessness plaguing Riften streets. Her court consists of Maven's agents and corrupt officials who filter information to maintain Layla's ignorance. When the player mentions Riften's problems, Layla often dismisses concerns or remains unaware of widely known issues. This willful ignorance or genuine incompetence makes her the most ineffective Jarl in Skyrim, allowing criminal elements to flourish while she pretends to govern. The Anuriel betrayal. Anuriel serves as Jarl Layla's steward, but her true loyalty belongs to Maven Blackbriar. Letters in Anuriel's chambers reveal correspondence from Maven giving explicit instructions on various matters, including arranging Sibbi, Blackbriar's imprisonment. Anuriel follows these orders while supposedly serving the Jarl, representing the complete infiltration of Maven's influence into the city's government. When players speak with Anuriel about becoming Thane or purchasing Honeyside, they're actually negotiating with Maven's agent rather than impartial government official. Anuriel's conversations with Layla involve smoothing over reports of Maven's activities, obscuring the criminal matriarch's operations from the Jarl's notice. This treachery operates in plain sight, as even the Jarl's closest advisor answers to someone else. The Unmut bandit chief connection. Unmuth, the steward who served under previous Jarl Hosgun crossed daggers, attempted to warn Layla about Maven's corruption when she assumed power. Unmuth disappeared shortly after these warnings, replaced by the more compliant Anuriel. While the game never confirms Unmuth's fate, the timing strongly suggests Maven arranged his removal. This pattern repeats throughout Riften. Those who challenge Maven vanish, face imprisonment, or suffer mysterious accidents. Unmuth's disappearance sent clear message to anyone considering opposition to Blackbriar interests. The complete absence of information about Unmuth's current whereabouts adds to the sinister implications, leaving players to imagine what happened to the steward who tried to expose corruption. The Mjol the Lioness Crusade. Mjol the Lioness stands as Riften's most vocal opponent of the Thieves' Guild and general corruption. This Nord warrior moved to Riften specifically to combat the criminal element after learning about the city's problems. She patrols the streets, attempting to maintain order where the guards fail. Mjol recognizes Riften's potential for greatness if only the criminal influences could be eliminated. Her opposition to the Thieves' Guild makes her potentially dangerous to guild operations, though she never actually interferes with gameplay. Mjol can become follower and marry the player, making her one of Skyrim's more popular marriage candidates. Her dedication to justice in corrupt environment makes her admirable if somewhat naive figure, as she battles problems too deeply entrenched for one warrior to solve. The Erin mysterious relationship. Erin, a gentle Nord, saved Mjol's life after she nearly died in Dwemer ruins. Since then, he's remained constantly by her side, following her around Riften and obviously harbouring romantic feelings. Mjol treats Erin as close friend, but shows no romantic interest, creating awkward dynamic. If players marry Mjol, Erin follows the couple to their new home, living there as permanent third wheel. He provides no services or benefits. He simply exists near Mjol at all times. This creates one of Skyrim's most persistently uncomfortable situations, as Erin continues his unrequited devotion even after Mjol marries someone else. Some players find this endearing, while others consider Erin's behaviour bordering on stalking, adding uncomfortable complexity to Mjol's seemingly straightforward character. The Helga's bunkhouse scandal. Helga runs a bunkhouse in Riften, while secretly engaging in numerous affairs throughout the city. She worships Dibella through practices many consider scandalous, keeping shrines and religious items in her establishment. Multiple NPCs reference Helga's promiscuity, and questline reveals the extent of her activities. Maven Blackbriar confronts Helga about having an affair with Hemi, suggesting the Blackbriar family became involved in her scandals. The Thieves Guild can intimidate Helga into paying protection money by stealing her Dibella statue, providing leverage through her religious items. Helga's character adds mature themes to Riften's already seedy atmosphere, showing how the city's corruption extends beyond simple crime into moral decay of various kinds. The Shadar Debt Quest. Shadar, a Nord commonly found on the bridge near Riften's main gate, owes debt to Sapphire of the Thieves Guild. He fell into this debt after bandits robbed a carriage he was depending on to repay his obligations. Players can help Shadar by convincing Sapphire to forgive the debt through successful persuasion check. This simple quest requires no violence or theft, just successful dialogue. Sapphire agrees to forgive the debt relatively easily, especially for guild members, suggesting she wasn't heavily invested in collecting. Shadar's gratitude manifests as gift of Potion of Brief Invisibility, modest reward for modest good deed. This small quest line provides opportunity for players to help Riften citizens without engaging in criminal activities themselves. The Sapphire's hidden tragedy. Sapphire, one of the Thieves Guild's most capable members, harbours dark secret about her past. She refuses to reveal her real name, having adopted Sapphire as professional alias. Through careful conversation and high relationship with the guild, players can learn hints about her history. Sapphire's past involves traumatic events including assault and abandonment, explaining her hard exterior and trust issues. This background adds depth to character, who initially appears as simple, tough-talking thief. Her willingness to forgive Shadar's debt reveals traces of compassion beneath her harsh demeanor. Sapphire represents another of Riften's broken souls, who found purpose within the Thieves Guild structure, using criminal life as escape from worse circumstances. The Honeyside purchase requirements. Honeyside, Riften's player home, costs 8,000 gold officially, but contains a glitch allowing purchase for as little as 5,000. This bug occurs because the minimum gold requirement was accidentally set to Breezehome's price rather than Honeyside's actual cost. If players have between 5,000 and 8,000 gold, the steward accepts whatever amount they possess. This unintended discount makes Honeyside more accessible than intended, particularly for players early in their Riften ventures. To purchase Honeyside, players must first complete the raid quest involving the skooma dealers, then help 5 Riften citizens with various tasks. Only after establishing reputation can players approach Anuriel or Hemming Blackbriar about purchasing property. The Honeyside Dual Access. Honeyside uniquely features 2 separate entrances, one from Riften's interior streets, and another that exits directly to Skyrim's exterior world, outside the city walls. This makes Honeyside the only city house with direct access to the wilderness, bypassing the need to travel through the city itself. The exterior entrance provides significant advantages for vampire and werewolf characters who prefer avoiding populated areas during transformations. It also allows players with bounties to enter and exit their home without encountering guards. The porch area and garden are technically outside Riften's walls, creating a strange situation where homeowners can step outside their door and immediately be in Skyrim proper, rather than the city. The Honeyside Garden feature. The 800 gold garden upgrade for Honeyside provides consistently regenerating alchemy ingredients and food items. The garden produces valuable plants including Jazbay grapes and nightshade, both required for radiant alchemy quests. 2 chickens live in the garden, providing meat and petty souls when killed without incurring bounty. The garden respawns after 30 in-game days, spent outside Riften and all its buildings including Honeyside itself. This regenerating resource makes Honeyside particularly valuable for alchemists, providing free ingredients indefinitely. The garden's inclusion makes Honeyside superior to several other player homes in terms of practical utility. The Honeyside architecture paradox. Honeyside displays 2 windows on its exterior wall facing Helga's bunkhouse. However, entering the home reveals these windows don't exist inside. The fireplace occupies the wall space where windows should appear. This architectural impossibility results from how Skyrim handles interior and exterior cells as separate spaces. The developers designed the exterior and interior independently, creating contradiction when details don't align perfectly. This minor oversight goes unnoticed by most players but becomes apparent when specifically examined. It represents the kind of small inconsistency common in Skyrim's complex world design. The enchanting laboratory versus children's bedroom. With the Hearthfire expansion, Honeyside allows players to install either enchanting laboratory or children's bedroom in the home's lower level. Choosing the bedroom replaces the laboratory completely, and switching causes loss of any items stored on mannequins in the enchanting room. The unofficial Hearthfire patch fixes this bug, allowing items to remain when switching back to the laboratory. This choice forces players to prioritize between practical enchanting station and family living space. The toggle ability makes Honeyside flexible, but creates storage risks for players unaware of the bug. Most players without children opt for the laboratory due to its practical utility. The Iona Housecarl assignment. Iona becomes the player's housecarl upon achieving Thane status in Riften. This Nord warrior moves into Honeyside's lower level, claiming the bedroom space for herself. Iona provides typical housecarl services. She can become follower, carry items, and protect the player in combat. Her personality reflects Riften's harsh nature. She expresses concern about raising children in the city, commenting that it's a tough world and kids need to learn to stand up for themselves. Iona's presence adds life to Honeyside while providing practical benefits. The containers in her room are safe for storage, giving players additional space to store their possessions. The Honeyside missing smelter problem. Riften lacks a smelter entirely, creating inconvenience for players who live in Honeyside and want to smith. The nearest smelter is located at Shorestone, a mining settlement requiring significant travel time from Riften. This design choice seems intentional, as Riften's economy focuses on fishing and brewing rather than metalworking. However, it creates practical problem for players who choose Honeyside as their main residence. Smiths must either travel regularly to Shorestone or use smelters in other major cities. This limitation makes Honeyside less convenient for warrior characters who rely heavily on crafting and improving weapons and armor. The Honeyside environmental music. Unlike other homes within walled cities, Honeyside plays environmental music instead of city music when inside. This occurs because the home has entrances from both the city and the exterior wilderness. The game apparently defaults to environmental music due to this dual access, creating different atmosphere than typical city homes. Some players appreciate this quirk, as environmental music feels more relaxing than the more active city themes. Others find it strange that being inside a city home doesn't feel like being in a city. This musical oddity adds to Honeyside's unique character among Skyrim's purchasable properties. The spouse complains about Riften. Spouses living in Honeyside often express distaste for raising families in Riften. They sarcastically comment about the city being perfect if you want to bring up little pickpockets, and state that Riften is a terrible place for children. These complaints reflect Riften's reputation, even among NPCs who marry the player. The spouse's concerns carry validity, given the city's crime rate, corruption, and general atmosphere. For players who care about roleplay, these complaints might encourage choosing different residents for family life. However, the complaints are purely dialogue flavor. Children raised in Riften develop no different than children in any other city. The Brynjolf marriage impossibility. Despite being one of Skyrim's most charismatic and popular NPCs, Brynjolf cannot be married. Many players attempt to romance the smooth-talking Thieves Guild member, only to discover no marriage option exists. The game files reveal Brynjolf was originally flagged as potential marriage candidate, but this was removed before release. The reasons remain unclear. Perhaps developers felt guild members shouldn't have marriage options, or maybe they wanted to avoid complications with Brynjolf's central role in guild storylines. Regardless, countless players have requested mods enabling Brynjolf marriage, making him one of Skyrim's most desired but unavailable marriage candidates. His permanent bachelor status has spawned numerous fan theories and considerable frustration. The Talenjai and Kirava romance. Talenjai, an Argonian working at the Bee and Barb, loves Kirava, the inn's proprietor. He can be seen writing poetry about his affection in the inn's back rooms. Players can help Talenjai by crafting an Argonian wedding ring, using specific ingredients. This small quest line rewards players who take the time to talk with and help the inn staff. The romance between these two Argonians provides one of Riften's few genuinely positive relationships, contrasting sharply with the city's typical dynamics of exploitation and corruption. Kirava and Talenjay's mutual affection shows that genuine connection exists even in Riften's harsh environment. The Alessandra's dagger delivery. Alessandra, priestess working in Riften's Hall of the Dead, asks players to deliver her father's dagger to Andors at Whiterun's Hall of the Dead. This simple quest involves just fast travelling between cities and speaking with two NPCs. Alessandra explains her father pushed her into the priesthood against her wishes, and she's removing symbols of his control over her life. The quest provides small insight into how some people end up in their professions through family pressure rather than personal calling. Upon delivery, Anders accepts the dagger, completing one of Skyrim's simplest quests. Some players report not receiving promised reward, suggesting possible bug in the quest's completion. The Romlin Dreth mead smuggling. Romlin Dreth works at Blackbriar Meadery while secretly selling mead cheaply on the side, essentially stealing from his employer. Players can choose to rat him out to Indarin, receiving reward of gems, or help him by delivering keg to Wilhelm in Ivarstead for different reward. This moral choice quest line has no major consequences either way. Reporting Romlin slightly damages his relationship with a player, but doesn't affect his employment or presence in the city. Helping him provides modest reward while maintaining friendly relationship. The quest highlights Riften's culture of petty crime, where even legitimate business employees engage in small-scale theft. The Wujita skooma addiction. Wujita, working at Riften Fishery, struggles with skooma addiction. She initially denies problems, but eventually admits her dependence if pressed. Giving her healing potion and convincing her to reveal her dealer's identity starts the raid questline. Wujita's addiction represents larger skooma problem plaguing Riften's working class. Her willingness to cooperate with investigation shows not all addicts are beyond redemption. She genuinely wants to escape the drug trade's influence. Wujita's questline provides path toward becoming Thane, while addressing one of Riften's more serious criminal operations. After the quest, she continues working at the fishery, presumably recovering from her addiction with the dealer eliminated. The Riften Warehouse Secret. A hidden warehouse near Riften's docks remains inaccessible until players begin the raid quest. This building operates as front for significant skooma and moon sugar operation. The warehouse interior contains numerous drugs, suggesting substantial trafficking network. Crag's Lane Cavern, located nearby, connects to this operation through bandit groups moving product. Eliminating the dealers and reporting to the Jarl helps clean up one criminal operation, though it barely dents Riften's overall crime. The warehouse's existence so close to the city demonstrates how deeply illegal activities have infiltrated the legitimate economy. After the raid, the warehouse remains accessible, but empty of enemies and contraband. The Grelod the Kind assassination. Aventus Aretino performs the Black Sacrament to summon the Dark Brotherhood, requesting his caretaker Grelod the Kind's death. This creates first Dark Brotherhood contract, introducing players to that faction's questline. Grelod runs Honor Hall Orphanage with cruelty masked behind ironic title. Her death can be accomplished through various methods, with no bounty assigned regardless of witnesses. Even guards congratulate players for killing her, showing how universally despised she was. The ease with which players can murder Grelod in public demonstrates Riften's twisted morality, where vigilante justice against child abusers earns praise rather than prosecution. Constance Michel takes over the orphanage, immediately improving conditions for the children. The Madesi's jewellery business. Madesi operates jewellery store in Riften's marketplace, selling rings, necklaces, and other ornaments. His stock includes unique items not found elsewhere, making him valuable merchant for players seeking specific enchanted jewellery. Madesi suffers harassment from Hemming Blackbriar, who demands free merchandise and threatens imprisonment for resistance. Maven personally intimidates Madesi, warning him to respond quickly and affirmatively when Blackbriars request items. These interactions reveal how even small merchants face constant pressure from Riften's powerful families. Despite this abuse, Madesi maintains his business, representing the resilient but oppressed working class struggling against corrupt elite. The Ungrian's mandatory enthusiasm. Ungrian works the tasting counter at Blackbriar Meadery, desperately trying to sell the mead with rehearsed enthusiasm. His sales pitch sounds forced because Maven demands perfection from her employees. Ungrian admits he's terrible at the job, but begs players not to report him to Maven, revealing his genuine fear. 3 previous workers in his position died under mysterious circumstances, strongly suggesting Maven eliminated them for unsatisfactory performance. This creates darkly comedic situation where selling mead becomes life or death responsibility. Ungrian's terror highlights Maven's ruthlessness toward her own employees, showing she treats them as disposable assets rather than human beings. The Bolli and Nivenor's marriage. Bolli, a Nord citizen, lives with his wife Nivenor in Riften. Their relationship appears relatively normal by Riften standards, providing example of stable marriage in corrupt city. However, both participate in Riften's social networks, with Bolli having business connections to Blackbriar interests. If certain quest lines progress in specific ways, their lives can be affected by the city's criminal activities. The couple represents Riften's middle class, not poor enough to be desperate, not wealthy enough to be powerful, existing in grey area where they navigate between legitimate business and criminal influence. Their normalcy contrasts with the dramatic dysfunction characterizing most notable Riften families. The Valindor's suspicious presence. Valindor, a Bosmer, walks the streets of Riften with no apparent occupation or residence. He can be found wandering the city at various hours, seemingly aimless. Players can interact with him, but receive little meaningful information about his purpose or background. This mysterious presence suggests Valindor might be conducting surveillance or involved in activities he prefers to keep secret. Many empty NPCs populate Skyrim cities, but Valindor's lack of clear role specifically in Riften, a city where everyone seems connected to criminal enterprise, makes him particularly suspicious. His story remains one of the game's minor mysteries. The Maurice Aravel's inn service. Maurice Aravel works as barmaid at the Bee and Barb, serving drinks and providing information to patrons. She has conversation with Maven Blackbriar that reveals Maven's influence extends even to the city's hospitality workers. Maven's interaction with Maurice seems relatively benign compared to her treatment of others, suggesting either Maurice has proven reliable or the innkeepers know better than to cross Blackbriar interests. The Bee and Barb itself serves as neutral ground where various Riften factions meet. making it important information hub. Maurice's position allows her to observe and report on city affairs, while appearing as simple barmaid. The Dirge's intimidating presence. Dirge serves as bouncer at the Ragged Flagon, preventing unwanted visitors from accessing Thieves' Guild headquarters. This massive warrior stands at the entrance, making clear that only invited guests should proceed further. His name perfectly suits his intimidating role, a dirge being a funeral song, suggesting what happens to those who ignore his warnings. Despite his threatening appearance, Dirge rarely engages in actual combat, serving more as deterrent than active combatant. Guild members pass him freely once initiated, but his presence reminds everyone that the Ragged Flagon isn't public tavern, but controlled territory. The Vekel demands neutral role. Vekel tends bar at the Ragged Flagon, serving drinks and maintaining the establishment's tavern cover. His nickname, The Man, references the common criminal slang term for authority figures, ironically applied to someone who enables criminal activity. Vekel provides information about Esbern's location during main questline, requiring either high persuasion or winning a brawl to obtain his cooperation. This interaction demonstrates the Ragged Flagon's role as information hub, where knowledge can be acquired through social manipulation or physical intimidation. Vekel's neutral position between the guild and outside world makes him valuable intermediary who can interact with both without fully committing to either. The Ternilia's gear distribution. Ternilia manages equipment distribution for Thieves' Guild members, providing armor and weapons to those who complete initiation. She operates from the Ragged Flagon cistern, making her one of First Contact's new members encounter in Guild headquarters. Ternilia's services include fencing stolen goods, a crucial function allowing Guild members to convert illicit acquisitions into usable currency. Her professional demeanor and business focus provide contrast to some more colorful Guild personalities. The armor she distributes becomes iconic Thieves' Guild equipment, marking players visually as members of the organization. Ternilia represents the logistical backbone supporting Guild operations. The Galathil's face sculptor services. Galathil operates face sculpting business from the Ragged Flagon, offering to change player appearance for a fee. This service allows complete character recreation without starting new game. Convenient for players who regret their initial character design choices. Galathil's presence in Thieves' Guild headquarters suggests face-changing services appeal particularly to criminals seeking to hide their identities. The ability to alter appearance completely implies understanding of magic or surgery far beyond typical Nord capabilities. Galathil's services add practical utility to the Ragged Flagon, while fitting thematically with the Guild's need for anonymity. The Syndus's specialized goods. Syndus becomes vendor at the Ragged Flagon after players complete special reputation quest in Markarth. He provides access to unique items and equipment not available through standard merchants. His arrival marks one step in the Guild's restoration, showing how completing reputation quests tangibly improves headquarters. Syndus specializes in goods particularly useful to thieves, lockpicks, potions, and light armor. His inventory restocks regularly, providing renewable resource for Guild members. The addition of Syndus and other merchants to the Ragged Flagon transforms it from desperate hideout into functional criminal marketplace. The Arnska Embermaster's blacksmithing. Arnska Embermaster, sets up blacksmithing operations in the Ragged Flagon after players complete special reputation quest in Windhelm. This provides guild members access to smithing services without travelling to surface shops. Having personal blacksmith proves invaluable for maintaining equipment during extended guild operations. Ansgar can craft various items, improve weapons and armour, and sell smithing supplies. His presence elevates the headquarters from simple hideout to self-sufficient facility, where members can conduct all necessary business without leaving. The name Ember Master suggests expertise specifically in forge work, fitting his role perfectly. The Gian the Fist's gloves, Gian the Fist, found dead in the Ratway, possesses unique gloves of the pugilist. These gloves carry the only Fortify unarmed enchantment available in base game, making them extremely valuable for brawler builds. Players must loot Gian's corpse to acquire this unique item. The gloves can't be disenchanted, preventing players from learning the enchantment for use on other equipment. Many players miss Gian entirely, since his body lies in less travelled section of the Ratway. Those who find him gain access to one of Skyrim's most unique equipment pieces. The glove's existence suggests Gian was a formidable bare-handed fighter before meeting his fate in the sewers. The Draft and Hunan permanent bodies, Draft and Hunan Black Skeever, are hostile NPCs encountered in the Ratway's initial sections. After players kill them, their bodies never disappear from the location. This occurs due to missing dead body cleanup script in the game code. The unofficial Skyrim patch fixes this oversight, but in unmodded games, their corpses remain indefinitely. Players passing through the Ratway repeatedly will continue seeing these bodies deteriorating in the sewers. This minor bug adds to the Ratway's unsettling atmosphere, creating permanent reminders of past violence. The bodies become a landmark of sorts for players navigating the confusing tunnel system. The Dravin's Bow Recovery, Dravin Lanith, owner of Merryfair Farm outside Riften, asks players to recover his family's bow from Ratway thieves. This unique bow appears in chests within the Ratway vaults, marked by Loot Shadow Mark. Recovering the bow and returning it to Dravin completes minor quest with modest reward. The bow itself has no special properties. Its value lies purely in sentimental importance to Draven's family. This quest line provides reason for non-guild members to explore the Ratway while adding personal dimension to random dungeon loot. It shows how Riften's criminal elements affect even rural farmers living outside the city walls. The Ratway Execution Chamber. A room in the Ratway contains bloody stumps surrounded by plants and roots, with dead lowlife and iron battle axe nearby. This scene suggests the location served as execution site or torture chamber. The precise purpose remains ambiguous, but the grim implications are clear. Such locations scattered throughout the Ratway demonstrate the lawlessness existing beneath Riften streets. These spaces exist beyond any government oversight, allowing violent resolution of disputes and elimination of problematic individuals. The execution chamber represents the dark reality supporting Riften's criminal enterprises. Those who cause problems simply disappear into the sewers, never to return. The Beggar Pickpocket Skill Book. The skill book Beggar appears near the end of the Ratway, increasing pickpocket skill when read. This placement makes thematic sense, as thieves navigating to the Ragged Flagon would naturally have access to training materials. The book provides mechanical benefit while reinforcing the Ratway's identity as thieves' territory. Players who thoroughly explore the sewers discover this valuable skill increase before even joining the guild. The book's presence suggests the Ratway once hosted more structured training for criminals before the guild's decline. Its survival through the guild's troubles indicates the sewers hide many forgotten resources, the lowlife and vagrant inhabitants. The Ratway hosts various lowlifes and vagrants who attack players on sight. These hostile NPCs exist in legal and social limbo, living in the sewers beyond civilization's reach. They survive through mugging travelers and stealing from guild members, representing bottom tier of Riften's criminal hierarchy. These inhabitants add danger to Ratway navigation while populating the sewers with threats. Their presence explains why the guild maintains this location as headquarters. No legitimate authority wants to police the dangerous tunnels. The lowlifes and vagrants demonstrate how Riften's corruption creates underclass existing below even the Thieves Guild's organization. The Ratway Vaults, hidden location. The Ratway Vaults can only be accessed through the Ragged Flagon, with entrance located to the bar's right. This section contains Esbern's hiding place during main questline, making it crucial for progression. The vaults feature 3 floors of dangerous passages filled with traps and enemies. A tripwire triggers swinging maces in one tunnel section, demonstrating the defensive measures protecting this area. An unowned bed holds dead gnawed corpse, suggesting previous occupant met unfortunate end. 3 skeevers inhabit one chamber near campfire, indicating wildlife has moved into abandoned sections. The vaults represent the Ratway's deepest, most dangerous areas, where even guild members tread carefully. The Esbern's fortified room. Esbern barricades himself in the Ratway Warrens behind heavily fortified door with viewing slot. The last surviving Blade member in Skyrim has transformed small sewer chamber into fortress. Paranoid about Thalmor discovery, players must convince Esbern to open his door through conversation, proving they're not Thalmor agents. His extreme precautions prove justified given the Thalmor's ruthless pursuit of remaining blades. Esbern's presence in Riften sewers connects the city to main questline in unexpected way. His hidden refuge demonstrates that even main quest involves Riften's underground spaces, reinforcing the city's importance to Skyrim's major narratives. The Shavari assassination attempt. During a cornered rat quest, Shavari, a Khajiit assassin, waits in the Ratway to kill the player. This attack occurs because Thalmor learned about the player's search for Esbern and sent Shavari to eliminate threats to their plans. Defeating Shavari yields a note revealing her Thalmor connection, confirming the conspiracy against the Blades. This encounter transforms simple dungeon crawl into life or death situation, where powerful forces actively hunt the player. Shavari's presence in the Ratway demonstrates how even Skyrim sewers can't provide complete security from determined enemies. The assassination attempt adds urgency to finding Esbern before more enemies arrive. The Skooma Den hidden truth. While no formal Skooma Den operates openly in Riften like Redwater Den in other locations, the city's drug trade thrives through the warehouse operation near the docks. The lack of visible consumption locations suggests Skooma users in Riften either consume privately or have been driven underground by the guards' minimal anti-drug efforts. Wichita's addiction and the warehouse full of product reveals substantial local market. The drug's presence affects Riften's working class particularly hard, with addicts like Wujita struggling to maintain employment while feeding their habit. This drug trade represents another layer of Riften's criminal economy, separate from the Thieves Guild's operations, but equally damaging to society. The Lake Honrik fishing industry. Lake Honrik provides foundation for Riften's fishing industry, which supplies food and employment for many citizens. The lake's name honors Queen Honrich, though details about this historical figure remain scarce. The fishing industry operates as Riften's most legitimate major business, contrasting with the Meadery's corrupt practices and the guild's obvious criminality. Fishermen work from boats and the pier facility, bringing catches to market daily. This honest labour provides counterpoint to Riften's reputation, showing not everyone participates in criminal activities. The lake's proximity to the city makes fishing convenient, while the autumnal forest's climate ensures abundant fish populations. The Three Watchtowers mystery. 3 watchtowers stand north of Riften, watching the approaches to the city. Each tower contains chests labelled confiscated goods, holding valuable items. These chests suggest guards confiscate possessions from hostile travellers and bandits before they enter Riften. However, all items in these chests count as stolen, creating interesting moral dilemma. Taking goods confiscated from criminals still constitutes theft. The towers themselves appear abandoned or lightly staffed, raising questions about who actually placed items in the chests. This mystery exemplifies Skyrim's environmental storytelling, where locations tell stories through physical details rather than explicit explanation. The Clearspring Cave Troll, south of Clearspring Tarn. An unmarked cave houses leveled troll. This location remains unknown to most players since no quest directs attention to it. Defeating the troll grants access to the cave's back area. The cave's hidden nature and lack of significant loot make it feel like oversight or cut content. However, its existence adds detail to the Rift's wilderness, suggesting not every location needs grand purpose. The troll perhaps chose this cave as lair, making it dangerous by accident rather than design. Exploration-focused players discover such locations naturally, rewarding thorough map coverage. The Merryfair Farm robbery. Merryfair Farm, just north of Riften, suffered recent robbery that took Draven Lanith's bow and caused significant distress. Draven and his wife Cinder work the farm, trying to recover from this crime. The robbery's proximity to Riften suggests either Ratway thieves or opportunistic criminals passing through. This incident demonstrates how Riften's criminal influence extends beyond city walls to affect surrounding rural areas. Honest farmers like Draven become collateral damage in the corruption radiating from the city. The player's ability to recover the bow provides small justice in unjust region. The Snowshod family's presence. The Snowshod family operates within Riften's social hierarchy, owning Snowshod Farm outside the city and maintaining residence within walls. Volwolf Snowshod supports the Stormcloaks, creating political tension with Maven Blackbriar's imperial sympathies. His sons Asgir and Unmid Snowshod appear in the city, though they're less prominent than the Blackbriar children. The Snowshods represent old Riften money competing with Blackbriar Nouveau Riche, though they lack Maven's ruthlessness. Their presence adds depth to Riften's political landscape, showing Maven faces some competition despite her dominance. The Snowshods maintain dignity and traditional values the Blackbriars abandoned. The Temple of Mara's Peace. The Temple of Mara provides spiritual refuge amid Riften's corruption. Dinya Balu, the temple's priestess, offers the Book of Love questline, helping troubled couples throughout Skyrim. This quest requires traveling to different locations, spreading love and solving relationship problems. The temple's focus on positive relationships contrasts sharply with the dysfunctional families and destructive partnerships characterizing most Riften interactions. Mara's presence doesn't cleanse the city's corruption, but offers alternative path for those seeking meaning beyond wealth and power. The temple represents hope that even Riften's darkness can't completely extinguish. The Ragged Flagon music change. As the Ragged Flagon improves through guild restoration, the music playing in the tavern shifts from melancholy tunes to more upbeat selections. This subtle change reflects the guild's improved fortunes and morale. Environmental music helps create atmosphere without explicit narration, letting players feel the difference restoration makes. The musical progression rewards players with sensory confirmation that their efforts are rebuilding the guild. This attention to auditory detail demonstrates Bethesda's commitment to immersive world building where multiple senses contribute to storytelling. The Jorvaska comparison. Irony, where Whiterun's Jorvaska houses the honorable companions. Riften's equivalent gathering place is the corrupt Ragged Flagon hosting thieves. This parallel shows how similar structures serve vastly different purposes depending on the city's culture. Both are warrior organizations in some sense, but the companions fight for glory while the guild steals for profit. The architectural similarity makes the moral difference more striking. Same building type, completely opposite values. This comparison highlights how environment and culture shape organizations more than physical structures. The final restoration achievement. Completing all reputation quests and special jobs triggers the final guild restoration. The Ragged Flagon receives complete makeover with new furniture, better lighting, extensive decorations, and multiple new vendors. The cistern similarly improves, becoming genuinely impressive headquarters rather than desperate hideout. The Shrine of Nocturnal appears, confirming divine favor has been restored. These changes represent more than aesthetic improvements. They demonstrate the player successfully reversed generations of decline through dedicated effort. The restoration provides satisfying conclusion to the lengthy quest line, making players feel they've accomplished something meaningful beyond simple quest completion. The Riften Guard corruption. Riften's guards acknowledge the city's corruption more openly than guards in other holds. They warn newcomers about thieves and pickpockets with weary resignation, rather than defensive pride. Some guards can be bribed to clear bounties for half price after completing guild reputation quests, showing their cooperation with criminal elements. The guards' ineffectiveness protecting citizens and enforcing laws stems partly from Maven's influence and partly from genuine overwhelmed conditions. These guards face impossible tasks. Maintaining order in city where the wealthiest citizen actively supports criminal organizations. Their corruption appears less like moral failing and more like pragmatic survival strategy. The guard force understands that aggressive anti-corruption campaigns would bring them into direct conflict with Maven Blackbriar, a confrontation they cannot win. Even honest guards who want to improve Riften face institutional barriers as their superiors answer to Maven through Jarl Laila or directly. This creates a demoralizing environment where good intentions cannot translate into meaningful action. The guards patrol the streets, break up fights, and arrest petty criminals to maintain appearance of law enforcement. But everyone understands the real power structures. When Thieves Guild members walk freely through Marketplace, when Maven's thugs intimidate merchants in broad daylight, and when obvious criminal enterprises operate without interference, the guards' helplessness becomes painfully apparent. Some guards drink heavily to cope with this moral compromise, while others rationalize their positions by focusing on protecting citizens from violent crime, even if they cannot address systemic corruption. The guard corruption represents institutional failure rather than individual moral collapse, though some guards undoubtedly embrace the extra income from bribes and protection payments. This complexity makes Riften's law enforcement simultaneously sympathetic and complicit. Caught in web of corruption, they lack power to escape. The Ratway's original purpose. The Ratway was originally constructed as functional sewer and canal maintenance system, designed to manage Riften's water flow and waste disposal. The elaborate network of tunnels demonstrates sophisticated engineering from Riften's earlier, more prosperous period. Wide passages allow water movement while side chambers provided access for maintenance workers. The system's scale suggests Riften once supported larger population requiring extensive infrastructure. Over decades of neglect, as the city's fortunes declined and priorities shifted, maintenance ceased and the tunnels fell into disrepair. The ragged flagon's location indicates that drinking establishments existed in these lower levels even during legitimate use, suggesting the underground areas always hosted some social activity. As the guild suffered decline and lost legitimate headquarters, the abandoned Ratway provided perfect refuge where they could operate beyond official oversight. The tunnel's complexity makes them defensible. Numerous passages allow escape routes, while confusing pursuers unfamiliar with the layout. The Ratway's transformation from functional infrastructure to criminal haven mirrors. Riften's broader decline from prosperous trade city to corruption-plagued settlement. The engineering quality visible in well-constructed passages and sturdy architecture speaks to the ambition and resources Riften once commanded. Now those same passages house the desperate and criminal, turning achievement of previous generation into refuge for current generation's outcasts. This transformation symbolizes how civilization's greatest accomplishments can become monuments to their failure when maintenance and civic virtue decay. The marketplace theft mechanics. Riften's marketplace features unique theft mechanics, where pickpockets and burglars operate more actively than in other cities. After completing a chance arrangement, a 20% chance exists of encountering a thief inside stores or houses throughout Riften. These random thieves will steal items if not stopped, creating dynamic criminal activity beyond scripted quests. This mechanical feature reinforces Riften's reputation as haven for criminals while creating unpredictable encounters for players. The thieves dress like ordinary citizens, making them difficult to identify until they commit crimes. When caught, guards chase and attempt to arrest them, though thieves often escape through knowledge of back alleys and canal passages. These random encounters make Riften feel more alive and dangerous than cities with purely static NPC populations. Players might witness theft in progress, creating choice whether to intervene or ignore the crime. The feature demonstrates how thoroughly criminal activity has infiltrated daily life in Riften. Even shops and homes lack security against determined thieves, reflecting broader failure of law enforcement. The mechanic connects to gameplay incentives for joining the Thieves Guild. If everyone is stealing anyway, why not join the organization coordinating such activities? This environmental storytelling through game mechanics shows Bethesda's attention to making each city feel distinct through both visual design and gameplay systems. The Dead Drop Location Network. The Thieves Guild maintains dead drop locations throughout Skyrim, where members can leave messages, payment, and stolen goods for retrieval by other guild members. These dead drops create network, allowing coordination without face-to-face meetings that might expose members to surveillance. Each dead drop location is carefully chosen for accessibility while maintaining secrecy. The drops appear as innocuous objects that blend into surroundings. Hollow tree stumps, loose bricks in walls, or hidden compartments in structures. Guild members check drops regularly, ensuring communication flows even when direct contact proves impossible. This system demonstrates organizational sophistication beyond simple gang of thieves. The Guild operates like intelligence network with tradecraft and protocols for secure communication. Delvin, Mallory, and Vex coordinate the network from Riften, sending instructions to members operating in distant cities. The Dead drops allow the Guild to maintain presence in locations like Markarth and Solitude without maintaining obvious headquarters in those cities. This distributed operational model proves resistant to law enforcement because removing one node doesn't collapse the entire network. Members in one city can continue functioning even if authorities crack down elsewhere. The Dead Drop system shows how criminal organizations adapt to hostile environments, developing methods that minimize vulnerability while maximizing operational capability across vast geographical areas. The Civil War impact on Riften. The Civil War's outcome dramatically affects Riften depending on which side claims victory. If the Stormcloaks maintain control, Layla Lawgiver remains Jarl, and the city continues as before. If the Imperials conquer Riften, Maven Blackbriar becomes Jarl, Hemming Blackbriar becomes Steward, and Maul becomes Housecarl. This transition makes official what was already de facto reality: Maven's complete control. Interestingly, if players give Riften to Imperials during season unending negotiations, then later reclaim it for Stormcloaks, Maven and her associates don't suffer exile, but simply resume previous positions. This suggests Maven's influence transcends political affiliation. She remains untouchable, regardless of which faction technically rules. The Talos Statue. Persistence. Riften maintains Talos Statue and Shrine near the graveyard, even if the city falls under Imperial control. This peculiar detail contradicts the Empire's enforcement of the White Gold Concordat banning Talos worship. The statue's survival might result from Maven's influence. She maintains enough power to ignore religious laws she finds inconvenient. Alternatively, Imperial forces in Riften might recognize that removing the statue would provoke rebellion from Talos-worshipping citizens. Either explanation reveals how Riften operates outside normal rules. The statue represents the city's independent character, following its own priorities regardless of official policy. The Riftweld Manor architecture. Riftweld Manor, Mercer Frey's home in Riften, features sophisticated architecture befitting the guild's former prosperity. The two-story building sits among Riften's more affluent homes, allowing Mercer to maintain respectable appearance while conducting criminal activities. The manor's interior contains multiple rooms filled with expensive furnishings and stolen treasures. Mercer installed complex security system, including pressure plates, triggering poison dart traps. The second floor features his bedroom and study, where players find crucial evidence during the pursuit quest. Most remarkably, the manor contains secret passage leading directly into the Ratway vaults, explaining how Mercer traveled between legitimate and criminal worlds without detection. This hidden exit demonstrates Mercer's paranoid nature and his preparation for potential betrayal or discovery. The manor's existence shows how guild leadership once lived in comfort, contrasting sharply with the desperate conditions in the Ragged Flagon during the guild's decline. The Temple of Mara's wedding mechanics. The Temple of Mara's wedding ceremonies follow specific mechanical requirements in gameplay terms. Players must first obtain the Amulet of Mara from Maramal, who can be found in the Bee and Barb or the temple itself. Wearing this amulet signals to eligible marriage candidates that the player is seeking companionship. Each marriage candidate requires specific relationship thresholds, usually achieved by completing quests for them. The actual ceremony requires scheduling with Maramal and attending at the appointed time. The wedding brings guests from various locations, creating unique gathering of NPCs. Marriage provides several benefits. A well-rested bonus when sleeping near spouse, daily income from the spouse's store or work, and the ability to move into the spouse's home or bring them to the player's residence. The Temple of Mara thus serves crucial mechanical function, while reinforcing Riften's importance as Skyrim's only marriage location. The Branche's tragic background. Branche's journal reveals he came to Riften searching for information about his Dunmer heritage and family history. Born in Morrowind but raised in Skyrim, Branche knows little about his biological parents or his past before adoption. He established himself as merchant in Riften's marketplace, working honestly to build life while researching his ancestry. His arrest during a chance arrangement permanently ends this quest for identity. The journal entries show Branche's hopes and plans, making his imprisonment more tragic. He committed no crime, yet spends the rest of his life in jail because the Thieves Guild needed someone to frame. His shop stall remains empty after arrest, a permanent reminder of the innocent casualty. This narrative detail demonstrates how Skyrim's quest choices can have lasting consequences, even if many players never discover or consider them. The Hall of the Dead location. Riften's Hall of the Dead sits near the graveyard in the city's southeastern section. Alessandra serves as caretaker, tending to the deceased and maintaining the crypts. The hall follows typical Nordic burial traditions, with stone architecture and somber atmosphere. Unlike some halls where halls of the dead contain undead threats, Riften's remains peaceful. The location provides necessary services for death rituals while hosting Alessandra's personal quest about delivering her father's dagger. The hall's proximity to the Thieves Guild's secret entrance creates interesting juxtaposition. The dead rest above, while the living criminals conduct business below. The graveyard outside contains numerous graves marking Riften citizens' final resting places, including the tomb hiding the guild entrance. This concentration of death-related locations in one area reflects how Riften's geography divides the city into distinct districts with specialized purposes. The Scorched Hammer Building. The Scorched Hammer, an otherwise unremarkable building in Riften, gains significance as landmark for finding the Ratway entrance. The building sits on the canal level, requiring players to descend stairs from the main city area. The name Scorched Hammer suggests possible smithing connection, though no functioning forge or blacksmith operates there in-game. The building's most important feature is its location directly above the Ratway's main entrance. Players seeking the sewers use the Scorched Hammer as navigation point when following directions from NPCs or quest markers. This demonstrates how Skyrim's world design uses name locations as reference points, even when those locations serve no direct gameplay purpose. The building adds authenticity to Riften's layout, creating the sense of a complete city where every structure has identity, even if players never enter most of them. The Plankside district details. Plankside, the western section of Riften separated from Dryside by the canal, contains several important locations despite being smaller than the main city area. The district's name references the wooden planks comprising many structures here, emphasizing the working-class character of this neighborhood. The canal bridges connecting Plankside to Dryside serve as choke points where guards could theoretically control movement, though Riften's guards rarely exercise such control. The district's proximity to the canal means residents live closer to the Ratway entrances, making them more aware of the criminal element than wealthier citizens on the opposite side. This geographical division reinforces class distinctions within Riften, with the canal serving as physical and social barrier between different economic groups. The Blackbriar Meadery interior. Inside the Blackbriar Meadery, the production facility showcases the brewing operation that made the family wealthy. Large barrels line the walls, containing mead in various stages of fermentation. The tasting counter where Ungrian works occupies prominent position, allowing customers to sample product before purchase. The building's design emphasizes functionality over luxury, despite the business's profitability. Production equipment dominates the space, with only minimal areas dedicated to sales and customer interaction. Maven's office presumably exists somewhere in the building, though players cannot access it directly. The meadery operates continuously, with workers maintaining production schedules regardless of external events. This realistic depiction of working brewery adds authenticity to Riften's economy, showing the industry supporting the city's wealth. The contrast between the meadery's productive interior and Maven's corrupt business practices highlights how legitimate enterprises can exist within criminal frameworks. The Snowshod Manor location. Snowshod Manor houses the Snowshod family in Riften's more affluent district. The building's size and quality reflect the family's long-standing wealth and position in Riften's social hierarchy. Unlike the Blackbriar's ostentatious displays of power, the Snowshods maintain more traditional Nord values and quieter presence. The manor's interior contains typical Nord furnishings and decorations, emphasizing the family's connection to Skyrim's cultural heritage. Volwolf Snowshod Stormcloak sympathies manifest in the manor's atmosphere, with implicit rejection of imperial influence. The building represents old money and established families who remember Riften before Maven's complete dominance. Visiting the snow-shod manor provides a glimpse into how Riften's aristocracy lives when they're not actively engaged in criminal enterprises or brutal power politics. The contrast with Blackbriar Manor's darker atmosphere shows how wealth manifests differently depending on the family wielding it. The Bolly's house. Details. Bolly's house represents a middle class living in Riften, neither impoverished nor extravagantly wealthy. The modest two-story structure provides comfortable home for Bolly and his wife Nivanor. The interior features practical furnishings without excessive decoration, reflecting the couple's focus on daily life rather than status display. A small business arrangement connects Bolly to Blackbriar interests, showing how even middle-class citizens can't completely avoid the city's corruption. The house's location in Riften's residential area places it among similar properties housing citizens who work legitimate jobs while navigating the criminal undercurrents. Bolly's house demonstrates that not every building in Riften has dramatic story or sinister purpose. Sometimes a house is simply a house, providing shelter and security for ordinary people trying to live normal lives in a normal city. The Helga's bunkhouse interior. Helga's bunkhouse provides rental rooms for travellers and workers needing temporary accommodation in Riften. The building's interior contains multiple beds available for rent, generating steady income for Helga. Svana Farshield works here, helping manage the establishment. The bunkhouse's atmosphere reflects Riften's seedier elements, with rough clientele and minimal amenities. Helga maintains Dibella shrines and religious items throughout the building, connecting her worship practices to her business location. The infamous Dibella statue that players can steal for Thieves Guild intimidation sits prominently displayed. The bunkhouse represents Riften's transient population, people passing through the city for trade, crime, or other business, who need cheap lodging without questions asked. The establishment's existence provides practical service while embodying the city's morally ambiguous character, where legitimate business and questionable activities coexist without clear boundaries. The Pawned Prawn Shop. Bercy Honey Hand operates the Pawned Prawn, a general goods store in Riften's market district. The shop sells various items including weapons, armor, potions, and miscellaneous goods. During the Thieves Guild quest, Taking Care of Business, players must intimidate Bercy by breaking his prized Dwemer artifact, a priceless urn he displays proudly. This quest demonstrates the guild's protection racket business model. Merchants pay or suffer consequences. Bercy's initial resistance crumbles when faced with destruction of his treasured possession, showing how the guild uses psychological pressure beyond simple threats. The Pawned Prawn's inventory includes useful items for players, making it valuable merchant location beyond its quest significance. After the intimidation quest, Bercy pays protection money to the guild, becoming another business contributing to Riften's criminal economy. The shop name, Pawned Prawn, uses alliteration while suggesting the buying and selling of used goods, fitting for a general merchant in a city where stolen items frequently circulate. The Elgrim's Elixir Shop. Elgrim runs an alchemy shop in Riften, selling potions, ingredients, and alchemy equipment. His wife Hafjorg helps operate the business, creating typical family merchant partnership common throughout Skyrim. Ingun Blackbriar apprentices at the shop, studying alchemy under Elgrim's tutelage, despite Maven's disapproval. This arrangement creates interesting dynamic, where powerful Blackbriar family member learns from humble shopkeeper, suggesting Elgrim possesses significant alchemical knowledge. Players can purchase rare ingredients here and sell their own alchemical creations for profit. The shop provides essential services for alchemy-focused characters while hosting Ingun's ingredient gathering quest. Elgrim's position as Ingun's teacher grants him some protection from Blackbriar interference, as Maven tolerates the arrangement despite her preference for Ingun focusing on family business. The shop represents legitimate business serving both practical needs and educational purposes within Riften's economy. The Bee and Barb Inn. The Bee and Barb serves as Riften's primary inn and tavern, operated by Kirava and Talanjay. The establishment provides food, drinks and rental rooms for travellers, while functioning as a social hub where citizens gather. The inn's name creatively combines two insects, the bee representing sweetness and the barb suggesting defense or danger. The main floor contains common room with tables, fireplace and bar where Maurice serves customers. Upper floor contains rental rooms providing temporary accommodation. The basement houses storage in Talenjay's private space where he writes poetry about Kirava. Multiple important quests begin at the Bee and Barb, including encounters with Brynjolf, Louis Latruche, and various citizens with problems needing solving. The inn serves as information hub where travellers learn about Riften's opportunities and dangers. As central gathering place, the Bee and Barb embodies Riften's nature. Legitimate business providing essential services, while inevitably connected to the criminal networks permeating every aspect of city life. The Brynjolf's market routine. Brynjolf maintains strict daily schedule, spending daylight hours working Riften's marketplace and evenings at the Bee and Barb. This routine creates opportunities for player recruitment, as Brynjolf's approachable public persona makes him effective talent scout. His market stall displays various goods, maintaining his cover as legitimate merchant despite obviously fraudulent sales pitches. Brynjolf's charisma allows him to operate openly in marketplace without arousing excessive suspicion. Guards tolerate his presence either through corruption or because he commits no overtly illegal acts during market hours. This dual life demonstrates how Thieves Guild members maintain legitimate facades, blending into normal society while conducting criminal business. Brynjolf's visibility contrasts with most guild members who prefer shadows and secrecy. His public role serves the guild's recruitment needs, identifying promising candidates who visit Riften's marketplace. The routine shows how criminal organizations embed themselves in legitimate community structures, hiding in plain sight while everyone focuses on obvious threats. The Mistvale Keep Throne Room. Mistvale Keep's throne room follows traditional Nordic long hall design, with Jarl's throne positioned at far end. The room's architecture emphasizes height and open space, creating imposing atmosphere befitting seat of government. Tapestries and banners decorate the walls, displaying Riften symbols and colors. The throne itself sits elevated, requiring visitors to approach from lower position, reinforcing power dynamics. Layla Lawgiver holds court here, supposedly administering justice and making policy decisions, though Maven's influence undermines the Jarl's authority. The room contains guards, advisors, and various court functionaries maintaining government operations. Players petition the Jarl here regarding Thane status, property purchases, and quest rewards. The throne room's grandeur contrasts ironically with Layla's ineffective leadership, creating disconnect between impressive setting and disappointing governance. When Maven replaces Layla, the room remains architecturally unchanged, but the atmosphere shifts as real power finally occupies the throne. The Mistvale Keep basement connection. Mistvale Keep's lower levels connect directly to Riften's sewer system, creating physical link between legitimate government and criminal underworld. This architectural feature has symbolic significance. Corruption literally exists beneath official authority. The connection allows potential infiltration routes, though the game doesn't fully exploit this possibility. Water from the canals flows through these lower areas, making the keep's foundation literally rest on the same stagnant waterways housing the Thieves' Guild. This design choice by Riften's ancient builders probably served practical purposes like waste disposal, but the current situation demonstrates unintended consequences. The guild's headquarters, sitting directly beneath the Jarl's throne, creates powerful visual metaphor for Riften's true power structure. Players who understand this geographical relationship gain deeper appreciation for how thoroughly crime has infiltrated Riften's institutions. The Riften jail cells. Mistvale Keep contains jail cells holding prisoners convicted of crimes or, in Sibby's case, family members requiring containment. The cells vary in quality, with Sibby enjoying comfortable accommodations, while other prisoners suffer standard dungeon conditions. Branshay's permanent imprisonment in these cells exemplifies how Riften's justice system punishes innocent people, while Maven's genuine criminals operate freely. The jail's existence beneath the keep provides convenient location for interrogations and imprisonment without moving prisoners long distances. Guards patrol the jail periodically, maintaining minimal security. Prisoners can be spoken to, revealing their stories and potentially triggering quests. The jail represents Riften's claimed commitment to law and order, though the reality demonstrates selective enforcement benefiting the powerful. Mulgrim Twice Killed, a former Thieves' Guild member, occupies one cell, showing even criminal organizations' outcasts end up in Riften's dungeons eventually. The Riftweald Manor Puzzle. Inside Riftweald Manor during the Pursuit quest, players must solve puzzle to access Mercer's hidden office. This puzzle involves manipulating stone pillars and pressure plates, requiring observation and problem-solving skills. The puzzle's existence demonstrates Mercer's paranoia and his determination to protect his secrets. Even in his home, surrounded by security measures, Mercer installed additional barriers preventing easy access to incriminating evidence. The puzzle difficulty appropriately matches the quest's importance, creating satisfying challenge before major revelation about Mercer's embezzlement. Players who solve the puzzle gain access to evidence proving Mercer's systematic theft from guild vaults over many years. This revelation transforms the narrative, showing Mercer's betrayal extended far beyond murdering Gallus. He stole from the organization he supposedly led, enriching himself while the guild suffered under Nocturnal's curse. The puzzle's presence in a residential manor adds layer of difficulty to investigating Mercer, requiring more than simple breaking and entering. The Golden Glow Estate B problem. During the Thieves' Guild quest, Loud and Clear, players must deal with Golden Glow Estate's defenses while avoiding killing too many bees. Brynjolf specifically warns against excessive bee death, as Maven wants the honey production to continue. This unusual constraint adds challenge to what might otherwise be straightforward stealth mission. The beehives themselves can be destroyed to send Maven a message, but killing individual bees carries different consequences. This mission demonstrates Maven's business priorities. She wants to intimidate the estate's owner while preserving the agricultural operations supporting her middery. The quest provides dark comedy as players navigate combat while consciously avoiding bees, creating absurd situations where mighty warriors carefully sidestep insects. Golden Glow Estate's beautiful island location contrasts with the violence and intimidation players bring there, showing how criminal influence corrupts even pastoral settings. The estate remains functional after the quest, with bees continuing their honey production under new ownership awareness of who truly controls their business. The Aringoth's treachery. Aringoth, current owner of Golden Glow Estate, attempted to sell his business to parties other than Maven Blackbriar, committing unforgivable offense against Riften's uncrowned queen. His perfectly reasonable business decision becomes capital crime in Maven's eyes, demonstrating how completely she controls Riften's economy. Aringoth apparently didn't understand the implicit rules governing commerce in the Rift. Maven's interests take absolute priority over free market principles. The Thieves Guild's mission to burn beehives and intimidate Aringoth ensures he never forgets who really owns his estate. Players can kill Aringoth or spare him. Either way, his authority over Golden Glow Estate ends. If spared, Aringoth presumably continues managing the operation while understanding he serves Maven's interests now. This quest exemplifies how Maven uses the Thieves Guild as private army, punishing anyone who challenges her economic dominance. Aringoth's fate serves as warning to other business owners. Crossing Maven means facing consequences far beyond normal commercial competition. The season unending Riften trade. During the main quest, Season Unending, players can negotiate trading Riften to Imperial control in exchange for other concessions. This diplomatic solution allows changing Riften's allegiance without military conflict, creating a unique situation where player choice directly determines the city's ruler. Trading Riften seems like minor concession compared to other holds, given Maven's control regardless of official Jarl. However, the transfer affects numerous citizens whose loyalties lie with the Stormcloaks. Layla Lawgiver suffers exile to Windhelm, while Maven assumes power immediately. The peaceful transfer prevents battle damage, but doesn't address underlying corruption. Many players choose to trade Riften specifically because they recognize Maven's already controlling the city. This pragmatic decision reflects understanding that official authority means little in Riften compared to actual power. The negotiation demonstrates how Riften's reputation for corruption extends beyond the city itself, with even diplomatic negotiators recognizing the city's compromised state. The Frosthorse questline. Frost, Sibby Blackbriar's prized horse, becomes target of theft in the quest Promises to Keep. Louis Latruche wants revenge against Sibby through stealing his valuable possession. Players travel to Blackbriar Lodge, a small cabin outside Riften where the horse is stabled. The lodge features minimal security, suggesting the Blackbriars never expected anyone bold enough to steal from them. Frost himself is a beautiful horse with unique appearance, making him desirable mount for players. The questline presents moral choice. Deliver Frost to Louis as agreed, or keep the horse for personal use. Keeping Frost betrays Louis, but secures excellent mount. Delivering the horse honours the agreement, but loses valuable asset. This choice lacks clear right answer, forcing players to prioritise their values, honour agreements, or maximise personal benefit. The questline's connection to the Blackbriar family adds stakes beyond simple horse theft, as any action against them carries implicit risks. Frost's quality as mount makes him worth the effort regardless of moral considerations, creating genuinely tempting choice for players. The Riften shadow marks throughout Skyrim. Beyond Riften itself, shadow marks appear on buildings in every major city, creating network of Thieves' Guild communication spanning Skyrim. These marks identify safe houses, loot caches, protected properties, and dangerous locations for guild members. The marks prove the guild's influence extends far beyond Riften's walls, with operations in every major population centre. Players who learn to recognise shadow marks gain advantage, knowing which buildings offer opportunities or threats. The protected shadow mark appears on properties connected to guild interests, warning members to avoid stealing there. The cache mark indicates hidden stashes of goods planted by guild members. The system demonstrates sophisticated organisation operating across entire province, with standardised symbols allowing communication without written messages. Riften's role as headquarters becomes clearer when seeing how extensively the guild's influence spreads through these subtle marks. The shadow mark system represents centuries of criminal tradition, with symbols passed down through generations of thieves creating silent language, understood by all guild members, past and present. Thank you for journeying with me tonight, Cozy Nights. If this story helped you rest, consider leaving a like. It helps other weary travellers find their way to our fireside.